Hello, and you are listening to The Professional Artist. I am Echo Chernik, and we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans, simulcast on YouTube and Facebook. Please like, follow, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And today I have my friend April Solomon on. Hi, April. How are you doing?
Hey, doing good, Echo. How are you?
Good. So you just got back from Illuxcon.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that? I keep missing that like every year, so I want to go, but I've only been twice.
It's quite the event for sure. It's an art show made for artists and everyone who appreciates this world of high fantasy, sci-fi, dark art. It's such an amazing show, and then there's very few shows out there that are like this specific show, because the quality is just through the freaking roof. The main show and the showcase, there's two art shows that go on at the same time. The main show goes on for 5 days, and that's the show that goes on from Wednesday to Sunday from 10 to 5, and then the showcase, that's the evening show, and that's from 8 o'clock till midnight, and that's only a 2-day show. So you get two very extreme different experiences. You have the slow burn show, and then you have like the rapid fire showcase show.
Yes,
it's a wonderful event.
It's several days. It's different than normal conventions. It specifically is it celebrates and it is all about imaginative realism, which is different than like Comic-Cons and other shows. What exactly, I know what it is, but what exactly do you define imaginative realism as?
Imaginative realism, in my definition, if I pulled up Google, I'm sure it'd give me a different definition. But when I think of imaginative realism, that is, in my definition, of a world of fantasy that's illustrated in a very high def, rendered, like you could swear you took a picture of an actual event that's happening in front of you.
Fantasy.
But fantasy, yeah. It's the method of application and the technique that these artists have used in their work. It's like when you think about fantasy art, there's a lot of things that can enter your brain, but when you see it done in such a very a methodical way with the technique of paint application, or the rendering of a pencil, or if it's digital traditional, it's that level of professional application of medium that which you thought you could only see in the museum in Paris or at the Louvre. It's application of medium that's handled by these artists that have taken what you see in like a painting that you would see at the Musée d'Orsay in Paris. It's like, no, these artists actually exist today and are breathing and alive, but their focus is fantasy art or dark art or sci-fi, and it really, like, for me, it makes me just, my mouth is on the floor. Like, I'm agape. I'm in awe and so inspired by these artists that can do this. And these artists are alive today. Like, I don't have to go to the past to see, like, oh, the artists that were, like a Sargent was alive today painting fantasy. Like, that's the level that you see at Illuxcon.
It really is, honestly. So, because I've been there.
Yeah. Or what's your definition? I'd love to know what do you
well,
think?
in the past, I remember that people would like turn their nose up at fantasy art. You think of like, what do you think of art? You think of like gallery art. You think of going to a gallery and seeing fine art, and then you'd be like, well, what do you think of this art? Oh, that's fantasy art. That's not real art. That was the general idea of fantasy art. And so imaginative realism, it is, like you said, it's fantasy art, but it's elevated to like a gallery level status where it is real art. I mean, it is gallery level, art like belongs in the salon and Paris back in the day. They used to have. I was just remembering that looking up. They used to have what was called the Salon in Paris from I think it was like 1660 or something to like late 1800s, where everybody would go to view the big paintings every single year of all the masters and everything. And that's sort of what a Luxcon is nowadays. You go and you view all the masters' paintings of imaginative realism. Because the main show it has to be all traditional art.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, the showcase. I think you're allowed to show. Yeah, you are actually. You're allowed to show digital in the showcase, but yeah, the main show, it has to be traditional medium.
Yeah, I don't think it was that way the first year or two because I was invited specifically to be in the main show the first year and the second year, but I couldn't make it because I got Celestial Seasonings that first year, and I couldn't make it because that was too big of a job. So I wasn't able to make the first 2 years, and then it went where you had to be traditional only, which is really cool. The main show is really just amazing. But then the showcase, I think the main show is like what 90 artists or something like that. Or
has it been around for only 9 years?
No, the main show has 90 artists, I think. Luxcon's been I don't know how many years it's been around.
Yeah, I believe so. And it's you've got the main floor, and then you have I think there's the second story, then there's no third story. But then there's the fourth floor. So there's three.
It's founded in 2008.
Yeah.
2008 is it founded.
So, oh wow.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah. So that was about the same year I got a lot of Celestial Seasonings, 2008. So it's the main. It was in it's in Reading, Pennsylvania. It was a really cool building it's in too.
It is, yeah. The Goggle Works building, which I was confused at first. I thought it said Google. I was like, why is it in a Google building?
I think everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks it's in a Google building.
And they use the same font too, which threw me off even more because my brain saw the font and thought Google without me even really reading the word goggle. And it's a building that they made goggles for fighter pilots in the war. And
I didn't know that.
And that's why it's called Goggle Works. It was a factory that used to make goggles for fighter pilots.
I didn't know that. I was wondering why it was called Goggle Works. So, cool. That's cool. It is a cool building, though. It's got all these nooks and crannies and stuff, and you just kind of weave your way through it, and it's a really cool place to show work.
The brick building, and all the floors creak, and it's just old, like I got nothing like that out here where I live in the West, I don't have any.
California's too new. Yeah, I went to Pratt and everything, and all the buildings where I went to classes, all the buildings were like that. We were in old loft buildings like that, and all the windows are huge, and everything creaked, and everything was cold, and there were cats wandering through all the classrooms, and
cool,
and everything. So
I was so distracted.
Oh yeah, we had this one cat that always walked through, and you learned this freshman year. You could tell by second year because there are Pratt cats everywhere, and by the second year you could tell the seasoned students because this one cat, he was white with like orange and black spots on him, and he was called Piss Cat, which sounds terrible, but he would walk through the freshman year drawing class, and you would see by second year you'd see everybody pick up their bags. Honestly, they'd be drawing, and then they would just pick up their bags and they put them behind them on the drawing horse without even like breaking strides, and then they keep drawing because what Piss Cat would walk around and would piss on everybody's bags and then leave. And he would do that once at like the freshman year, and by the second time, everybody would just pick their bags up, put them behind them, and just keep drawing without even, because it was like his thing. He was like, "Oh, you're a freshman, you smell like pee now." So, but there were cats all over all over Pratt, because it was an old school and
the initiation
old buildings. He was the initiation cat.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a freshman, you smell like cat pee.
Yeah.
So,
Pratt.
Welcome to Pratt. So anyway, but it was the main show is really, really neat. There's a lot of really great artists, and then what night is the showcase? That's Thursday night.
Showcase is Friday. You set up Friday, and the show starts at 8:00, goes until midnight, and then Saturday same hours, 8 to midnight, but then you tear down. So it's a flash and a bang, like it's a
Yeah.
rapid fire kind of
We
show.
did the showcase a couple years ago. That was a lot of fun. So,
It's
and it's
fun. Yeah,
just,
it's a completely different, like, and that was interesting. So now I've been on both sides, because now I've been in the main show and I've been in the showcase. The showcase, I was in the showcase last year, and this year I got the call from Pat, who's one of the the coordinators of Illuxcon, Pat and Jeannie, amazing people. I don't know how they do it, but they do. And Pat reached out to me and texted me if I was interested in going into the main show, because some artists got sick or the hurricane. So a lot of artists couldn't make it. So he asked me if I was interested in moving up to the main show. And I said, of course I'm interested.
well, hell
Absolutely.
yeah.
And it was bittersweet because, the good friends of mine who had to drop out, and because of they were sick. And so I was more than honored to be in the main show, but I felt awful at the same time. Like, oh, I'm sorry you got sick, but I'm happy to be in the show, but I'm sad you're sick. But I had 5 suitcases packed, ready to go, enough product to show on 2 tables this year. And, it was kind of nice to have a slow burn show for a change, because you're there from 10 to 5. The building opens up at 9, so you try to get there early so you can see everyone else's setup before you have to go back to your own table and sit down from 10 to 5. But it was nice because people would come in and they see your work, and there's chairs everywhere, so they can sit down and you can talk to people and not have to rush them through and get them on, get them out of there. It's like, no, we can sit down and chat for an hour or two with potential buyers or gallery owners or art directors or new friends, old
Oh
friends.
yeah, you had lots of room.
It was great. I really liked that slow burn experience for a change. Whereas the showcase, people come by your table and you're happy to see them, they're happy to see you, and you chat for maybe 3 to 5 minutes and then off they go. It's just off they go, off they go. But the main show, you can sit down and talk away for
That's
a
so
couple of
cool.
hours, and it was great. I really liked that element of the main show.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then, yeah. That, and then but you didn't have to do the showcase as well. You just had to do the main show.
Yeah, the main show. So it wasn't like rapid fire like it was last year, which I'm used to that that type of setup, because that's what I've been doing for years. Is you're there for 2-3 days. Longest you're there maybe 5 days.
And there's
But
like 130 artists in the showcase as well as the people in the main show.
yeah,
So it's all artists. So it's so cool. So,
yeah.
but did you get to walk around the showcase then?
I did. So that is the exchange that you make. So when you're in the main show, you get to see the showcase, because your show's over. So you can go to the showcase, walk around, see all the art. That was awesome, because I didn't get to see it last year because I was in the showcase. But when you're in the showcase, you get to see the main show. You get to go through all the levels, take your time,
Oh wow.
So I had an exchange this year. This year, I hardly even got to see the main show. There were people I wanted to see, and I told them I'd go see them. Didn't even have a chance to go see them because I'm too busy at my booth. It was my first year at the main show, so I wanted to make sure I was there all the time. I only get up to leave to get water and use the bathroom, and you see someone, you start chatting with them, and then you go back to your booth. But yeah, the showcase, I was very, very excited to see. I did pick up a couple of pieces, and there's some amazing artists in the showcase where I'm like, how did you not get in the main show? I mean, the showcase, it's not that it's a lesser show, by no means at all. There's amazing talent there, and I know artists who could be in the show choose to do the showcase because it's a 2-day show. Some cases you can make your money's worth in a showcase that you would make in the main show. I mean, mind you, the whole experience is profitable, and not just the money, but the connections you make, the people you meet, the relationships you're building, like all of that is gain. It's not just go and make money and if you don't make money, it was a failure. Like, no, you're making your gains back in so many other ways, with just meeting people. I met so many new people this year. It was so cool. I met so many gallery owners and art directors and new people who loved my work, and saw old friends. I mean, I know a lot of artists that only go to this show, the Illuxcon. They don't go to any other show because they get so much back in return. Yeah. This is like the only show that they go to because there's so many friends that go, and it's just a really great experience for them, and they get recharged. I mean, I feel so charged. Like, coming back from Illuxcon, I was just like, I can't wait to get back to my studio and make some more art, because you see the level of professional quality that just gets you so excited to get back into your own studio and try something new. Yeah, it was wonderful. I just could go on and on and on about it.
So you're going to apply for the main show again next year, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. And if I don't get in, that's fine. I'll go to the showcase. And even if I wasn't in the show at all, period, I would still go to the show, because there's just so much to be.
And Bob was in the main show, so that was cool.
Yeah, it was on the first floor. As soon as you walk in to the main building, on the right hand side, and he had this big Godzilla painting, and he sold it, of course.
Oh my god, cool.
And his wife was
so awesome.
selling paintings too. She was doing great.
Oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's awesome. So yeah, eventually I'll get back there. I wanted to go this year, but I was too busy with everything else. So I'm always too busy. It's just like, it's not convenient. It's because it's all the way across the country for me. So
understandable.
We're
in the same time zone, you and I.
I know, but get the gallery to run too. So
yeah, that's get those.
But kids. Yeah. I know, but you got 5 suitcases that you didn't charge you a fortune this time to bring.
That's right. It did not cost me a fortune. I finally made my Media Pass badge, so that has been super helpful.
Yeah, tell me about that. So you were talking about that last time, the Media Pass thing. How does that work?
So the Media Pass is a pass that you wear around your neck, and I have a picture of the one that I have. You show it to the ticket counter, and you basically present that to them, saying that what I'm traveling with is product. All these suitcases, these are not shoes and clothes and random shit. Like, this is all stuff for my job. This is all stuff for my business. Lighting, camera equipment, wall setup, product, table displays. And every airline, when you go onto their website, it'll say what they recommend that you show them if you want that discount for your bag. But it has to be something related to the media or equipment that you're traveling with. So you show that Media Pass, and that's letting them know, hey, I'm traveling with equipment for my job. This is for my business. And that's helped a lot. Quite a bit.
That's amazing. How did you find out about that?
So my friend, I've known a couple of artists that have known about the Media Pass, and I've heard about it, like, just in random conversation with people here and there. But my friend, who's a photographer and director, he travels with the Media Pass, and he told me how to go about getting one, and he kind of like clarified a lot of things for me that I heard about a Media Pass, didn't know what it was or how it was used or how you get one. But he clarified a lot of things for me, and and because I am my own business, because I am the business. I am April Solomon Art. I am the business. I'm the business owner. I'm a producer, owner. So I, by rights, can make myself my own pass because I am the business.
Right.
So, you can actually make your own badge. You don't have to go through a company. I mean, if you worked for a company, then they, by rights, would make you the pass. But if you are your own business, which you
you can make your own, which I am. So and we do media.
You can make your own badge. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing to know. That is such solid, good, important information.
Yeah. No, it's
so that is super important to know. So wow. Yeah, and because you got really hit with a bunch of overage fees and stuff last time, right?
Dragon Con, I
Oh
spent
my God, yeah.
$1,600 in luggage fees.
How did that happen?
Yeah. Well, my big brain, brain, I thought if I get a big black container, like I got one of those Home Depot black cardboard containers with the handles and it's got the big wheels. I thought
Uh-huh.
if I get a bigger container, I can load it up with more shit so I'm not paying for so much extra luggage.
Oh no.
But you know where this is going. I
Yeah,
went
I
I went
know.
over the weight limit. So I went over 50 pounds in weight. So not only am I paying 125 per extra bag now I'm paying an additional 125 for being overweight. So
I
now
can't
I'm
believe they
essentially
charge you
paying
that much extra.
$250 for one bag. And I had 5 luggages to pay for. 2 were free, like 2 are just free. But then if you go over the weight, then you're still paying the 125. So I just completely ruined myself. Like
Oh,
how I learned, I have to do everything wrong first, the
that's
maximum
why.
free before I learn a lesson.
See, this is why we're doing this podcast, so we can share the information. So
Share it.
we can
Yep.
share it, and we can help each other not make those mistakes. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
so
And
uh,
Southwest is the airline I use because they allow 2 free bags. You don't have to pay for them. Everything else after that is 125 per extra bag. Mind you, you don't go over the 50-pound limit, but if you have that media pass that says that I'm traveling with equipment for my job, then
yeah,
it's deducted down to $75 per extra bag. So you save a lot of money.
yeah. No, that's amazing. So I'm gonna look into that for sure. Because we travel with a lot. Do you know anything about international? Have you gone international at all with it, or?
I have not gone overseas yet.
Okay.
um, but I don't see why it wouldn't work because what I have on the back of my badge is it has a list of all the airlines,
Right.
Southwest, United, America. So yeah, good question about the international. I don't know. Good question. I'll have
Yeah.
to look into
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, that's cool. Wow. So all right. So what else is up with you in the future? What's going? What else is going on?
Let's see. So, uh, coming back home, being revitalized from Illuxcon, not feeling drained, in spite of staying up till 3 or 4 in the morning or 5, talking with people. You stay up later and later because you meet your old friends, you make new ones, and you're up till, like I said to myself, I'm going to be responsible and go to bed at 3 a.m. so I can
Oh,
get up early and go do
oh,
my. It's late, like I know, but people are up till 5. Some people wouldn't even sleep because you're
oh,
just talking with people. It just talk. Like my voice was gone by Friday. I got there on Wednesday, and my voice was practically gone, just talking to everybody all the time about everything art related under the sun, and it was great.
oh, that's exhausting.
I know, but
So,
it was so much
but
fun. I
there's
just
also some workshops. There's
yeah,
also workshops and stuff going on too, right? Did you go to any of the workshops or not?
I couldn't. No, I couldn't go because I was at my booth, and I'm only one person, so I didn't travel with anyone to help me. Um, so I know there's like workshops and there's portfolio reviews, which I was thankful I got one, and then I have another portfolio review that's going to happen in December online. So that'll be cool. Um,
Okay, yeah. No, I did. I held portfolio reviews. I mean, like I reviewed portfolios when I was there last time.
yeah,
That was a lot of fun. Um, uh, I want to go back and do that again. That was fun.
yeah, come
So
maybe next year. You know.
maybe next year. Maybe next year. I know that I just saw on the website that you can now apply for next year for the showcase. So artists that want to apply for next year
Oh,
can now do that. They just opened up applications,
oh
so
wow,
you can do that.
that was quick.
Get on. Yeah, I think it says something on the website like, "All right, well, it's like 4 days ago, so let's get
Oh,
on it, get
oh,
cracking."
okay. Thanks for letting me know.
So yeah, I just saw I was on the website looking up information on the show and everything, and it was like, all right, they're call for submissions. So But
do the showcase. I'll help you with the luggage stuff.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I was on with Nigel. We were talking about how to the best ways to ship luggage and ship the backdrops and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess in the main show you don't have to worry about backdrops or anything because you have the walls.
Yeah, they supply the pro panels for you, so you don't have to worry about bringing any walls. I hate bringing my walls. I haven't like figured that part out yet. I know some artists will do a beautiful backdrop for their wall, so they're not hanging stuff behind them. But I have paintings that I want to hang and display,
Yeah.
so I have to worry about a nice wall setup. And I end up bringing that photography stand with the two black legs, and then you put the pole up here, and then you drape the drapery, and then you hang.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I bring, and I make it look as good as I can. I work with what I got. Life gives you lemons. You make a lemonade wall.
The photography backdrop works great. I'm going to be using that this weekend, actually. So, actually,
I'm like, but I have pro panels at home, and I know it could look so much better.
I know I have the pro panels too, with the pro panel extensions with the lights on top, and they look really, really good. But they're so big, and they just don't fit on the airplane.
What type of lights do you have?
I have the pro panel ones. They're ones that actually, or they attach on the top of the pro panels.
I use a Silicon Lightworks, and they come with a battery pack, so you don't have to pay for electricity. And they're really small. Ooh. They're long and skinny. I'll send you a link to that if you want.
Okay. Yeah, no, these are the ones that come with I do have to get electricity, but these are not small. these are not small, but they look really, really good, and they're daylight, and they go great, and they go right on the top, and they're really fancy, nice. and they're amazing. They're just they're not small. They're they actually have the big tracks and everything. I managed to drop an entire wall on top of one of my helpers last show. He was fine. He was fine. I said proof of life to his mom, and I'm like, look, yours that's fine. She's like, what? Huh? So I'm like, nothing to see here. She's like, that was just random.
Yep.
So
I'll send you the Silicon Lightworks information. The lights themselves are about 1.5 feet long, and they're really skinny. And the lights that go onto the big long neck that you hang over your wall, the light itself is like 2 inches in diameter, and it's probably the bulb itself is like maybe 2 inches long, maybe 1.5 inches diameter.
Oh yeah, send me a link to it.
Oh well, and you plug it into your battery, and the battery can last up to 12 hours for a charge.
Wow.
And you can use the battery for your phone because it's got that outlet that you can plug in a charge cable to connect to your phone or your laptop. So you can use the battery for other things too, besides your lights.
And what's the name of it?
It's called Silicon, SILI.
Okay.
CON. Silicon Lightworks. Yeah.
Cool. Is it a can you bring it on the airplane, or
yeah? I actually brought my bulbs on the airplane. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have to check them underneath? Because I know some things you can't bring and carry on.
Yeah, I this is how I learn. I'm like, I just want to bring it on board to see what they say. They didn't say anything. I have packed my lights, like the actual light stand, in my luggage. I've never taken them on my carry-on. But yeah. I did bring a bulb on my, I checked it in my bag, and I went through the TSA, and they didn't say anything.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But I packed them really tight in my luggage so they don't bounce around, and I've never had a broken bulb. So.
That's good. Yeah, well, I dropped my lights onto a guy, and they didn't break, so I think they're pretty durable. So I mean, so far so good. But yeah, things get pretty beaten up when you travel with them. So I just made cool new displays. Actually, I was doing that this morning. My hands are still covered in spray paint. Sometimes you have to make displays for things.
Right?
I have these small cat prints that are 5 inches by 5 inches, and I've been trying to find the perfect display box. First, I got these boxes, and I painted them, but all the paint would chip off, and they wouldn't work well, and they just weren't tiered well. And then I got these other boxes, which were good, but they were just meant to be temporary. They were kind of deep and they were fine. And finally at Daiso, I found these other boxes. I got the ones you sent me, which were perfect. But they're too deep and they're better for like storing them for me to flip through. The bus ones, they look like little buses. So all my cats are riding in these little buses, which are fantastic. But for the front of the display, I wanted something that was not quite so deep so people could look at the prints a little bit easier. And so I finally found some, and they're like, I guess they're like stationary holders, but there's only like two. They're like little, and they're like kind of scalloped edges. There's only like two little holes in them, and they're really really cute. But they're off white, and they weren't like perfect. And so I ended up buying foam and like constructing this entire like shelf system with glue, and then spray painting the entire thing black so it looks like it's like wrought iron. It's a really cool Art Nouveau looking thing now. So yeah, I'll have to send you a picture of it. It looks really really not like the thing that I bought at Daiso at all. Now it looks like it's this whole like cast iron, wrought iron piece that's, you know, fancy, and it's all constructed, made out of green foam that I bought at Lowe's, and hot glue gun and cat fur and pieces of my skin and stuff. But you know, sometimes you have to just kind of like construct things yourself. I don't know. Have you ever had to make your own displays?
Oh yeah. And foam board is like, foam board will save you every time.
Oh yeah.
It's strong enough. You can cut into it. You can shape it, hot glue it. You know, you call upon the early things you learned when you were a kid about the power of hot glue. Changed my world when I was a child.
I didn't even realize there was like, apparently there's two levels of hot glue, because Laz bought me a professional hot glue gun that's like hotter than the kid hot glue gun, and I was like, there's different hotnesses to hot glue, and I didn't even know that. I was like, and then I was using the one he bought me, and I was like, okay, this is hot glue, and then I ran out of the glue, and I pulled out the other hot glue gun, and I was using that, and I was like, wait, this hot glue is not as hot as the other hot glue. I'm like, this is the kid hot glue gun. They do have different temperatures. So now apparently I know that kid hot glue guns are not as hot as professional hot glue guns.
I think my parents just gave me a real hot glue gun when I was a kid, because this was like the 80s. They didn't know any better, and I didn't know any better. I just learned to be really careful.
I guess in the easy bake ovens, you're just like, just stick your hand in there. You're fine, kid. You know,
right?
So, yeah, I think I had a real hot glue gun as a kid too, because I don't remember hot glue guns being not, you know, taking just the flesh off your fingers. So
yeah,
because you
have to be careful.
You just took your fingerprints off. You know, it's kind of fun after a while.
Men in Black.
It made you tough. Made you tough. So, but yeah, so so what else? You end up making, just sometimes you get to the show and you don't have what you need to set up, so you have to borrow and beg from other people to figure out how you're going to display stuff. Sometimes you don't have the right print stands and everything else. So
I have a con artist kit that I bring every time, and I always go through the box. In fact, I should have brought it with me to share, but I always have two square readers. I have one that I'm using, and then a backup for whatever reason. And then I have super glue. I have clamps. I have tape. I have magnets. I have
zip ties. Have to have zip ties.
Oh, I got so many zip ties. I got different, like all that. I got the whole zip tie family. And then you have the Velcro, and then you have a screwdriver, and that actually came in handy. And I had clamps too, and I have the clippers, like the little baby clippers, and that came in handy when I had a light that went bad, and I looked inside, and one of the metal like bits from the bulb broke off inside the light, so I had like the perfect tweezer to like pull it out, and it was fine. I have like, you got to bring extra pens, because you're just going to lose the pens. You're going to, people are going to borrow them, and you need the pen to like write in your guest book, or whatever you need a pen for. And I always bring a notepad, because I take notes.
You're so organized. You probably have a first aid kit too, right?
I guess I could use duct tape and super glue. That's first aid.
I did that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I cut my finger and I ended up putting duct tape around it, and
yeah,
I
that worked.
got infected. That it didn't work well. No,
Oh,
don't do that.
are
Yeah,
they going to say it worked perfect?
no, it didn't
Because
work
you use
perfect.
super glue in the hospitals.
That
You know,
is true. They do they do use super glue in the hospitals. I guess I should have just super glued it shut. So that
there's
probably would have been better than the duct tape. So yeah, it
kettle.
ended up getting infected. It was really not a good idea. It kind of went poorly that way. So, but probably because there was so much grime while setting up because the floor was all gross and dirty and stuff. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
was so
Yeah.
setting up is so gross. So, but it's just
Oh,
kind of amazing when you go to a show and you see how empty everything is, and then when the show opens, everything just looks so shiny and pretty and set up. You know,
yeah.
it's
It's, it's taken me, like, this is the first show that I've done. And I actually had to calculate how many years I've been doing shows. I've been doing shows for over 15 years.
I know you've been doing
And
them longer than I have, I think, or the same
but
amount.
but I feel like I'm finally to figure out what I want my signs to look like. 15 years. I feel like I'm finally liking what I'm doing. And then that will change in a year. It's always
Yeah,
changing,
probably.
Like, I mean, how often do you find yourself change your setup every time you do your
Yeah, a
show?
lot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing that right now. I'm actually getting ready for this show that I have this weekend, and I'm completely rebranding this show because it's just the cat stuff. So I have new business cards for it, new look for it, new everything for it. So
That's so
I'm
exciting.
kind of excited. I know, I'm kind of excited because
Yeah. Like a new
it's
date.
it is like a new date. I'm really kind of excited to set it up. I'm like,
Oh,
ooh, I'm actually only bringing such a small percentage of what I usually drag to a show. Like, it's gonna be
that's so
such an easy setup. So
nice. Oh my gosh. There was an artist at the showcase. Amazing. She did these incredible oil paintings on pennies. I mean,
what?
a little penny, and it was like an oil painting that I swear to fucking God was like something you would see in some fine art. Like, she did portraits, she did landscapes. Even talk to Dan about this girl. Like, I forget her name. I'm sorry, artist, I forget your name, but she does
Nice.
oil paintings on pennies that were unbelievable. I wanted to buy one of them, but it was out of my budget. But she said to me that she packs up her whole setup in one bag. And I'm like, you bastard. I'm so jealous. I have 5 suitcases. I
Wow.
got like a little bag because she paints on pennies. All she needs is just a little setup, a little stand, and she can put all her artwork out on one table, no problem.
Wow. Just
I was,
all these pennies. Oh,
I was
wish I
like,
could
that
paint
must be nice.
small.
And it was
Probably.
beautiful work. I'll send you a link when I find it.
I want to see when you find. Yeah, nice way to call somebody out. Be like, and her name is I don't remember.
Yeah,
So
I know.
I would change my name to Penny. That's what I would do.
Lucky Penny.
Lucky Penny. So
Yeah.
yeah, I want to find out her name now because I want to see her artwork. And she's
Oh,
probably was she in the main show or in the showcase?
she was in the showcase, but I mean, she killed it. And we all knew that she would. As soon as we all saw her table and saw what she could do, we're like, oh, damn. Like, you're going to do really well. And she did. And we were so happy for her because her work was just,
Wow.
I mean,
Wonder.
yeah. And then there's another artist who did scratchboard art. It just
Yeah, scratch
blew
board's
me
really
away.
cool.
I never knew you could get this level of finish on scratchboard. And she said she'd been perfecting it for like 12 years. And her technique was,
Wow.
she did portraits, I mean, she did metal, jewelry, she did the illusion of smoke and fire, all with a little blade. And she did a combination of, stippling and cross hatching, but it was all, I never thought I'd get excited about scratchboard.
I used to do that sort of stuff on Zip Tone. It already had the tone on it, and then I would like scratch on it with the blade on that. So you can get a lot of detail with that. So,
Really can.
um,
I never knew you
yeah.
could. Yeah. So,
Oh, that sounds cool.
yeah.
So, what kind of things did she draw?
Scratchboard. She did a lot of portraits. She drew books. She drew blades, daggers, jewelry, uh, birds, In fact, I bought one of her original drawings of a dagger, and it was in this beautiful black frame. And I saw her work. I'm like, I've never seen anyone achieve this level of finish with scratchboard before. And I got so excited. I'm like, I have to buy one of your pieces. And so I bought like an original scratchboard painting of a dagger with a jewel in the center, and it had like a crystal ball in the hilt. It's just,
oh, that's so cool.
yeah.
How long did it take her to do? Do you know?
I forgot to ask her that. She did tell me it took her 12 years to perfect it, including whatever amount of hours she spent on this scratchboard piece.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing.
Wow.
I'll find her work too and send it to you.
Wow. Oh, wow. So who else did you see? What other kind of art was there? What else did every people work in?
My friend, she, let's see. I have so many names in my brain. They want to stick together in one weird, like, no, take these names apart. Don't stick them together. Okay. Well, anyway, I know her name. I'm going to think of it as soon as this interview is over. But she's an amazing dragon artist, and she does beautiful unicorns. She drove all the way from Utah to Pennsylvania to be in the showcase for 2 days, and then she was driving back home to Utah.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that's commitment. And she's amazing. I've seen her work before, and when you draw dragons, you immediately see who's in your circle, your tribe, who's also drawing dragons, and you immediately want to make a connection with those artists too. Call them your dragon sisters or your dragon bros. You know, you want to like build those connections too. And I finally got a chance to meet her and talk to her and get to know her better. And I was just so amazed with her setup. She did great. Yeah, just a lot of fantasy, watercolor, digital. I mean, I also, I mean, I like digital when it looks traditional. At least for me. Like, I don't like to see it so smooth and polished, like it was done with an airbrush. You know, I like to see that texture, and I like to see that it was, you know, at least that's what I like. That's what I prefer in a digital piece. But there were amazing digital artists there. Pretty much everything under the sun in the showcase. I wish I could have seen the main show.
You didn't get to go at all, huh?
Not really. No, I mean, I just was always rushing through, and like Donato's painting of the scene at, you know, when the hobbits and Gandalf and, you know, the elf are going down into the dwarven mines, and Gandalf is fighting off the Balrog. Did you see that painting that Donato Gincola did?
Not in person, no.
I'll send you that too. It's a painting that's like, I think it was like 6 feet by 8 feet or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I wanted to see this painting like since the day I got there, but I couldn't see it because I had to rush upstairs to the 4th floor to save my booth. And I think
did you ever get to see it?
Kinda.
Oh.
I got a chance to observe it for like less than a minute, and then I had to run back upstairs.
Oh no.
Yeah, the problem is, at least for me, and I wish there was a way that we could like sort this out, but you only get an hour to see everything before you have to go to your booth, because the building opens at 9 and the show officially opens up to the public at 10.
You need a helper.
I do need a helper. I know technically I have a helper, but yeah, I need a helper. But it would be nice if we, the artists, just had a day maybe to ourselves to just walk around and see everything. So
maybe they could just shut each floor for like an extra hour or something. So they could be like, oh, 4th floor is closed for like 3 hours so that those artists could walk around. So
that would be cool.
You
because
know?
also the thing is you stay up later and later and later, and so it gets harder and harder to wake up earlier and earlier to have breakfast so you can get your ass over to the building to see everyone's art before you have to go back to your table.
Yeah.
That's one
Yeah.
of the drawbacks.
Yeah.
So that would be my only
Wow.
critique.
Yeah, I can't wait to go again. So, but what are the shows you got coming up next? You good for a while, or you?
So so that was the biggest show. It's interesting because I start out in the beginning of the year. I don't know if this is what you go through, but I feel like at the beginning of the year I have these little shows that I don't have to drive far. They're local, and I don't have to fly out to any of them. And then as the year progresses on, they get bigger and bigger, and I have to fly out farther and farther away from home.
Yeah.
But now in November, I'll have a little show to be a part of at my yoga studio in Laguna Niguel. And, I'll bring in the, 3 paintings, just simple little show. If I sell it, great. If not, whatever. Just, just to be a
Just
part of
local, relaxing. That's nice.
yoga.
Yoga.
Studio.
Now
Yeah.
you can actually relax at home, nice California, and make some more art. So.
Yep. Make some more art, and and I'm getting better and better about reaching out to art directors at companies and feeling better. Like when I say better, I'm feeling more confident. Like I can reach out to these people and let them know I exist and that I would love to work with them. That's taken me years, Echo, to feel like I'm qualified. I guess is the
Yeah.
word. And I'm gonna admit it. Like I really can't wait to see what I'm doing in the next 10 years because I feel like I'm just starting to figure this out, whatever that is. And I know there's still always going to be more to learn. I'm never going to know all of it. And I wouldn't want to because then the adventure would be over. Part of the part of the adventure is not knowing and being okay with not knowing, but knowing just enough to get you to the next stage.
Well, that's the journey. Is we're just figuring it out, and then things keep changing, and we're figuring out new stuff. So that's how it goes. But just keeps it interesting. But yeah, eventually you figure out what you want your booth to look like.
15 years later, I'm going to start to figure
15.
out, hey, I think I like this look. I can
It's
finally
perfect.
liking it.
This is exactly what I want it to look like now. This is just right. So, and then it's going to be out of style. And everyone's going to be like, I don't like that anymore. You're going to be like, but this is,
Papyrus. The font I'm using right now will be like papyrus font in 2 years.
No, it'll be like,
no one will
Comic Sans. But they'll be like, why? Oh, no. So, but, you have commercial work coming up? I know you were excited about a couple commercial projects that you might be getting.
Yeah, I'll be reaching out to an art director that I was in contact with for a few emails back and forth, and it's not for certain, but it's looking good. So, and I feel like actually I just feel really excited to have made that connection now. And if I get a job sooner or later, I'm fine with that. It's just now I have that connection, so that to me is like worth so much.
Yeah.
And and seeking out other opportunities now. Now I'm like thinking like, well, like the book Fourth Wing. Have you read that book, Fourth Wing?
I've heard of it. I haven't read it yet, though. No.
It's a pretty awesome book.
Is it really good?
Yes.
I know when I did when I
So.
did the coloring book that I did, they kept referencing it and sending me references to it and quotes from it and stuff and about the characters and things. But I haven't read it yet. But they kept saying how good it was.
It's very good. So I've reached out to the author about offering my services to illustrate her dragons. I've reached out to one of the gals who's in charge of putting together the Amazon series that they're going to be doing in the future based off the book. There's going to be 8 books, I believe, and Amazon's going to turn it into a series. So I reached out to her and offered my services to illustrate for the show, and I've got nothing back, but I'm building a sense of belonging. Like I can offer I can bring something to the table, and having the confidence that I can do it is slowly starting to become my new root system. Whereas before it was never felt like I never felt good enough. I never felt qualified. I never felt like I could offer anything. And my friends and my family were like, "You're crazy." But like, of course you have something to offer. But it took me a long time to, like de-root that old belief system, and but it's doing these actions that are not always easy, but you do it anyway because it's what must be done if I'm gonna make this my lifestyle. I can't live on the
and
old
you might
system.
hear back, you might not hear back, but you just keep trying.
Keep
You
trying.
never know. You don't know what's going on over there, and they might be like, wait, what? Oh my God, April Solomon reached out to us. Holy cow, we didn't think we could ever like afford her or hear from her. Oh, I love her work so much. You don't know. So that it would be amazing. So reach out. When in doubt, you might.
I'll just keep poking them. Like, hey,
poke, 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 poke until you
poke,
get
poke,
it.
poke.
So,
Yep.
oh, we are just about out of time. So share with everyone your URL and everything again, so they can find your work.
So I keep it short and sweet, simple. My first and last name, April Solomon, and the word art, A-R-T. And I use that for like all platforms. It's Patreon, Etsy. My website is aprilsolomonart.com. I have a Twitter page, which is April Dragon Lady, but that's the only one that I've changed my name. Everything else is April Solomon Art. And I have Instagram, ArtStation. I have all the social media things, so you can find me. So, but thank you so much, Echo, for asking me to be on your show. I just love the opportunity, and I love you.
Oh yeah, I love having you on.
Thank you.
And let me see if I can find the jury submission. Yes. You can go ahead and apply to the Illuxcon main jury show at ixartists.com.
Okay.
ixartists.com. So go right over there and apply again for next year for the main show. And if you don't get into the main show, do the showcase because it's definitely worth it to go to both. And then you just go to all the workshops. Honestly, the showcase is pretty awesome. So I've done that. So, but yeah, thanks for being on again. And you have been listening to The Professional Artist. I'm Echo Chernik, and we're broadcasting on the United Public Radio Network 107.7 in New Orleans. Simulcast on YouTube and Facebook, so make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And we will see you next week. And thank you again for listening. And thanks again, April. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.